So as we've already seen, our games are made up of levels, and each level is composed of scenes, and in each scenes we add elements, and an element can trigger what we call a flow, a series of actions or events. So in these flows is where our learning experiences get built. Okay, we've talked about the navigation and how to get around the game, but the real learning happens as your learner is going through these flows, and how you build these flows block by block, and the order in which you present the material and the interactivity and the mini games and knowledge checks to your player is the basis of how we create the learning experiences for your player, and how we can create simulated experiences as well, simulations of real world situations. To show you one flow that is particularly a good example of a flow built for learning something quite simple, we'll have a look at this flow here on Emily. As we've seen, this game is about learning about celiac disease and gluten intolerance in general. So here we have a flow that is triggered by clicking on this character, Emily. Okay, Emily will launch a notification that introduces the game and what we're learning about. Then it's going to take me to a dialogue, which is going to set the scene of the story. It's going to be a conversation between two people. That's going to lead into my lesson, okay, which is a text building block where I've included a text piece about what is gluten. Here's the learning. Okay, this could be in a PDF. This could be in audio or video if I wanted it to. And then we have a quick decision, a quick check to see if we have understood, and then we're going to play a mini game to put into practice what we've learned. See if we are now able to select gluten-free foods from a series of pictures in front of us. This is the clickable image mini game, which is one of the super flexible, super versatile mini games that you can use. Here are our correct selectable areas and our incorrect selectable areas. So it's a quite simple way of kind of putting into practice what the learner is supposed to be picking up and reinforcing that learning, repeating it and making sure that the player can interact with the information that they are consuming and hopefully retaining. Okay, and then at the end of this flow, we're going to be taken, once we've learned our lessons, we're going to get taken straight to the kitchen to continue the game in the next scene. So let's have a quick preview of this flow so you can see. So let's quickly preview this scene so that you can see this flow as it is experienced by a player. So here we are in the scene. I click on Emily to launch the flow in question. It launches the notification piece. Then I enter a conversation. Thank you, Fred, for inviting me to the restaurant. You're welcome. I've heard they have some very good food here. But do you know I'm gluten intolerant? Let's see if they have some gluten-free food. I didn't know that. What exactly is gluten intolerance? Fred says. And this launches us into our lesson on gluten intolerance with our nicely formatted text. Then I have a quick knowledge check. What food is gluten-free? And we know that it is quinoa. And here we have our mini game clickable image where we have to select the gluten-free foods from this image. Once I've selected them all, I am told I'm correct. I get my feedback. I earn some points for getting the right answer. And I'm taken directly to the next scene to continue playing. So that's a very simple example of a flow built for learning. You're presented with some information, given a quick knowledge check, and your knowledge is checked through an interactive game as well. But of course, the sky's the limit with creating simulations in the editor, especially using some of the mini games and building blocks at your disposal. Clickable image is one of the very versatile ones, but we also can look at the mini games, the file browser, the pick cards, the minigame writing. Especially writing is a very good one for simulations. You can simulate that they are writing an email. In pick cards, you can have the order of the cards that are selected be important. There's lots of different ways that you can simulate a series of actions in the real world.